A year ago to the day, I visited my brother-in-law's distillery. It was a vacant, empty building that they were building out to make look like a distillery. Being a commercial litigator, I was skeptical that this project would ever come to fruition. They recently released their first bottle of gin and vodka. It's glorious, it's delicious. Going back 1 year later to check it out now, should be awesome. So setting aside the success story that is this distillery that actually came to fruition from dream to concept to reality, my brother-in-law has his own success story, and it is an existential one. He was born 2.5 months premature. While this may not sound over the top in 2018, this is the late 1980s. Science and technology wasn't then what it is today. My brother-in-law Vincent was referred to as the miracle baby. They had a television show on him. I'll see if I can find some of that footage. All right, I couldn't find the footage of Vincent's airing on television with the Miracle Children, so we're at the source, his mom's place. Watch what happens when you put this in. You put this in, close it. Now it brings up the magnetic strip on the top with a battery, by the way. This is a battery operated adapter. Okay, that's the technology.
I swallowed it!
And by way of comparison, he was 2.5 months premature and weighed under 4 pounds. I was about a week late and weighed 10.5 pounds. Let's do a side-by-side comparison to see how things have shaped up, shall we? This is my brother-in-law.
Hey.
Let's go inside.
All right.
This is amazing. This is last year with a bunch of work tables, sawdust, and general disarray. This is now. Oh my goodness. We're gonna go in the back and check out the stills and the place where the spirits are made. But first, nice bathroom. Oh yes. Okay, private time. Vincent?
David, welcome to the bar.
Give me some of your finest gin.
We have our Furlong London Dry Gin.
La Chaufferie, which means the boiler room.
Yes, which is fun because this building used to be the boiler room for Imperial Tobacco back in the day. We also have our LeMay's vodka.
What does LeMay vodka mean?
So LeMay is one of our partners here at the distillery. Actually, we start off making our vodka to make our gin. Rye-based vodka has a little bit more character than most vodkas. We're quite proud of that.
Okay, a small touch.
So it has a nice little sweetness to it, a little bit of almost nutty maple syrup.
It's delicious. Let's see where it's made. Ow. Oh God, now you have lost it on your hands. So this is where the magic happens. Let's do the tour. Okay, now this room compared to last time, it was a year ago, the change is not as radical and mind-blowing as this room.
Where the magic happens. So as you can smell, there's always a lot of alcohol happening here.
The camera can't smell anything.
Oh, but you can, Dave.
All of this stuff looks like something out of a Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
Yeah.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Explain to us what this is.
All of the process starts, we're quite proud here to say that we start from the grain for all of our products. A lot of distilleries, what they do is they'll buy bulk alcohol and rework it, where we actually do all our own ferment.
The grain is in that thing right there.
Yeah.
That's the grain.
Yes. This is our hammer mill. So basically what we're doing is we're taking our rye, we're crushing it up into a flour, and then we're gonna be mixing it in Mickey over here to do our ferment.
Did you say its name was Mickey?
Yes, all the stills have names. This is Mickey. Mickey we use to cook the grain and do our first distillation. What I do here is I'm mixing in the rye flour that we make with the mill in with some hot water, and we do a heat treatment with some enzymes to break up the starch. So starch isn't fermentable, but when we cut it into little pieces, it becomes fermentable by the yeast.
Brother-in-law Vince doesn't appreciate that not everyone has a high degree of knowledge in terms of distilling. Simplify it as much as possible. We take
the raw grain, we crush it up into this flour and crush this flour, and then we'll mix this in with hot water. We're taking the starch that's in the grain, we're opening it up, and we're cutting it into little pieces so the yeast can eat it.
Thus producing alcohol.
Yes.
Okay, so it goes in here.
It goes in here. Here I mix it up with some hot water, and then when I'm done my heat treatment, I transfer it into one of the fermenters back here. And once it's in there, it'll ferment for about 4 or 5 days, and then that's where it creates the alcohol and the flavor profile that we want. At that point, the alcohol is at 9%. So we're basically making a sort of beer, except for unlike beer, we don't separate the grain. So it's kind of like beer meets porridge. From there, we bring it back into Mickey, where we do our first distillation. This is called a strip. So basically, we're taking out all the alcohol we can. Product that we create here in English is called low wines. In French, it's called brouilly. They call it brouilly because it's not clear. It's around 35% alcohol, and it has a strong flavor, a lot of bitterness to it. It's basically our rough alcohol. At this point, it's not really drinkable.
Dumbing it down even more for people like me. That is to say, you take the 9% alcohol sweet porridge.
Yeah.
When you distill it, you're boiling off the alcohol?
Yeah, so basically what happens is alcohol evaporates before water, and so the alcohol vapors will hit the cold tubes and come out alcohol at around 35% in here. Yeah.
And then it's 35%, it's not drinkable yet. You rework it as in distill it again to make it purer, clearer, and even more strong alcohol?
Yes, and clean up the flavor profile a little bit. At this point, we'll move on to Melody or Veronica, depending on what product we're making.
Hello! Oh, that is so cool!
She's all copper, and basically the reason for copper is not just because it's pretty, but also because copper helps clean up our alcohol. So when we ferment, we produce sulfur flavors that when you condense in the spirit will taste pretty harsh and kind of burn your nose. So what happens is those sulfur compounds react with the copper, stick to the still, and that cleans up the spirit that comes through. And that's why the head is round, like a light bulb. But what happens is the vapors, when they rise, they get in here and they start spinning around in a circle before they can go through that little tube on top. And so that means you have more surface contact. All the alcohol vapors have a chance to come in contact with the copper. For our gin, basically we're making a quick version of our vodka and then redistilling it with our herbs to become our gin.
Do you have an example of those herbs?
Yeah, indeed I do.
Let's go see it. Okay, let's see this. Ooh, look at this.
All right. Here we go. Small sample of what we're using. Gin, obviously we have juniper.
Yeah, I don't think anybody ever really appreciates what juniper berries look like. Oh, that smells so good. This is almost, it looks like peppercorn. It smells beautiful, okay.
Yeah, the other ingredient that's always in gin, we have coriander.
You grind this up into a powder?
No, I use them whole, just like that. And then we have our, that's iris roots, or orris roots.
This looks like, don't tell me, caraway seed?
Yes.
Yes. We got caraway seed.
So it gives that little licoricey flavor.
Amazing. Just spilled some.
Yep.
Angelica root, smells like angels.
Exactly.
It's beautiful.
Some orange peel.
Orange peel. Smells like an orange.
We have pink peppercorn.
Pink peppercorn. Smells like pepper. Black peppercorn smells like black pepper.
This is what we call poivre crispé.
Crispy pepper, but look at this. These actually just look like miniature acorns. Can I eat one of these?
Yeah, go right ahead. So these grow all over the place here in Quebec.
You sure I was able to eat that?
It gives a kind of a nuttier flavor, interesting complexity.
This is the inventory of flavors that go into the gin.
13 spices for good luck.
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Marion, we found the missing mug. I was looking for this because I like drinking my coffee out of this because it has a narrow top and keeps the coffee hot. He stole it from his mother-in-law. No, he stole it from his mother, my mother-in-law. It smells like gin. I'm joking, it's coffee. That's awesome. What else?
This is the grain we start with. So we receive them in big bags. Basically, it's a ton bag. It comes in on one side in grain, and then it leaves on the other side in this sort of sludge that is great pig feed. So now we're shipping it off to a local farmer to feed his pigs.
A business idea that I've been trying to pitch to La Chaufferie and my brother-in-law. We're gonna make like a Quebec Kobe-style pig, which we're gonna feed beer stuff, massage it. It's gonna be even more delicious than standard pig. We'll see if it's economically feasible or even scientifically possible, but whatever.
We can try.
And just to be true to Peter McKinnon, I'm gonna get some B-roll.
Ooh yeah, B-roll.
Now, Vincent, I couldn't help but notice that Veronica does not have as much copper as Melody. Is there a reason for that?
Well, it's not what's on the outside that counts, it's what's on the inside. So the inside
Well played, sir, well played.
So on the inside of this column, we have basically copper waffles. We still get the same contact with the copper to clean up our spirit, but instead of having the whole still made out of it, it just has a couple of waffles to get the same contact. And also, every time that the copper cleans up your spirit, you also lose a little bit of your copper. So you're slowly eating away your still from the inside.
What is the lifespan on a copper still like that?
It depends on how we treat her. I'm hoping 50 years, we'll see.
And now we are going to the bottling line, this is cool.
We're very manual here. So we have a four head filler. Basically, we filter our product just to make sure there's no chunks or random stuff that might be in it. And then we fill our bottles here and label over here. So a lot of it is hand labeled for now. We'll roll in the back here, and then this little machine where we can put the bottle and slide it, and the label sticks on the side.
All right, I better go back to your sister and the kids because, yes, because I left them alone with your sister and mother, so, and the 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Okay, we better go.
Good luck.
This is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Vincent.
David.
Awesome, thank you.
Well, thank you for stopping by.
That's it.
Yeah.
La Chaufferie.
How beautiful is that?
Once upon a time there was this baby sesame. She cried most of the time like this. Nobody could make her happy. And somebody made her happy one day. The end.
When is the first bottle going to be ready?
Next summer, ça chauffe à la chaufferie.